Hello everyone, this is Daikaiju SpaceZilla approaching you, and welcome to Spooktober Time. Today, we're gonna take a look at the evil within. I know I haven't done much gaming content on this show, aside from my brute force review and some awkward Pokemon Let's Plays, but I wanted to add more variety to my channel, and more's to come soon. But enough about me. The Evil Within, also known as Psycho Break in Japan, is a survival horror video game directed by the one and only Shinji Mikami, known for works like the famous Resident Evil franchise and Devil May Cry. The game began development in 2010 under the name Project Zwei. Mikami said that he wanted to make a survival horror game as he believed that the contemporary horror games relied more on action than survival. The game got its announcement and trailers back in 2013, starting off with a live-action one, which I'm pretty sure got all of our attention when it aired. Then they came out with the gameplay trailer, which revealed to be in a similar style to classic horror games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil. So of course, everyone wanted to give it a shot, and on its release, it gained plenty of positivity and sold like hotcakes. And rightfully so, because this is a really good game that I'd highly suggest picking up for yourself. Before we get to the review, I'm gonna be setting a disclaimer here, and that is I'll only be discussing the main game in this video. I'd love to take a look at the DLC stories too, I really would, but I haven't played those yet, nor do I own them. So that's gonna have to be a separate episode down the road. Anyway, let's get to the review. While investigating the scene of a cruel murder, Detective Sebastian Castellanos is knocked unconscious by a mysterious and powerful force. When he awakens, he finds himself in a deranged world, separated from his comrades with all these bizarre monsters out to kill anyone in sight. So Sebastian's gotta reunite with his allies and find a way to escape this horrid land. The story here relies a lot on mystery, as you gotta keep unveiling the details on what the hell is going on, and the plot twist on what's happening to the world and what these creatures are was genius and isn't exactly predictable. The ending's severely thought-provoking, and after beating it, you'll have this game on your mind for quite a while, putting the puzzle pieces together on what it meant, and it leaves you feeling uneasy in a good way. Not a damn thing is spoon-fed to you, so it's something you really gotta pay attention and put your mind to, and trust me, it is satisfying when you do. Sebastian Castellanos, played by Anson Mount. It is revealed as you go on that in his past, Sebastian was much more happy and optimistic, with a loving family that he was proud to have, but didn't always have time to spend with them due to being overly focused on his job. This, of course, makes the death of his wife and daughter all the more painful and turned him into a depressed alcoholic that blamed himself for all that goes wrong, shaping him into the strong, badass detective he is now, who wants to make sure he can do for others that he couldn't for his family. And Anson Mount constructs a great lead here, as we see a guy who's lost so much dear to him and is plain exhausted from all of it. Joseph Oda, played by Yuri Lowenthal, is pretty much the smart guy here, as he's quick to figure stuff out and is quite helpful at that. Like his fellow colleague, he does have an issue with blaming himself for what goes wrong, especially when he ends up attacking Sebastian despite being under Ruvik's control. Though Sebastian handles his depression with alcohol, Joseph's a tad more harsh about it, since he even gains suicidal thoughts at one point. To his development, he does toughen up over time.
Is this what it was like, Seb? After the accident?
Well, I never put a gun to my head.
No, of course not. Just quietly sank into a bottle.
We can't all be perfect. It never affected my work. But hey, you read the IA report.
You know I didn't report you because I was worried about your work, Sebastian.
What else is there?
Most of Julie Kidman, played by Jennifer Carpenter's character development, comes from the side story DLCs, The Assignment, and The Consequence. And I'm perfectly okay with that, considering they obviously had the side stories in mind. So I'm not really gonna go too much into her character here, as I don't really know much about her aside from the little bits that's been revealed in the main story, so look forward to when I review those at some point. But I will say here that I really liked how she was neither good or evil, as she's willing to do bad things for a good reason, which does lead her into making some regrets on the way, along with giving us a little taste on her past. But it doesn't tell us so much where the side stories are spoiled. It's just enough to get us curious to check them out. featuring a satisfying performance from Jennifer Carpenter herself. When it comes to Leslie Withers, played by Aaron Landon, he is an oddball for sure. I found myself wondering why he's so fucked up, as he's surely been through something to create such strong mental scars, and it's supposed to give off this effect, as he's another that you learn more about through Kidman's side stories. There's also this relation he's got to the entire situation that's left ambitious temporarily, so when you find out his involvement, it comes off as a major surprise. Aaron Landon's frightened tone conveys an intense feel to this guy's mentally scarred nature.
Leslie can go home? Can take the train all the way home?
No, Leslie. Not today.
You'll protect me?
Yes, that's my job.
Marcelo Jimenez, played by Danielle Riordan, was a despicable doctor back in the day, willing to do disgusting shit if it furthered his research. But after starting a partnership with our heroes, he becomes a better person that wants to help everyone escape this hellhole, finding redemption in his life.
Is this, what did you call it? Your inner sanctum? A research lab of your own? I am most impressed.
Why are you back? I didn't give you permission.
Come now, we're both men of science. Men of science are dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. You can show me your experiments. I can show you things.
You wouldn't like them. You'd think they're gross.
In science, one must do any number of things a layperson may find disgusting. I've done many things others would consider distasteful.
Tatiana Gutierrez, played by Julie Grattana, is a decent supporting character that helps Sebastian with no issue and brings a nice case of sarcasm with an appropriately stoic mood.
Is everyone else all right? The city?
Whatever are you talking about? You are the only soul here. Right now.
Ruvik, played by the one and only Jackie Earle Haley, was a magnificent antagonist for this nightmarish tale. He's highly intelligent, having major potential in being a scientist, but suffered too much mental health issues to really be trusted. As we start to witness this psycho's history, we are informed about how horrible his life really was. Ruvik was never completely sane in the head, he was mentally disturbed, but he didn't go straight up evil until losing all dear to him, getting both physical and mental scars. I love that we didn't just see him turn crazy from a flashback or two. We are legit watching him lose his mind in a steady length from everything in his life going wrong, turning into a complete serial killer in the process. I could talk about all the things that made Ruvik into who he is today, but I'd rather you just play the game for yourself to discover the mystery, because it's an important part to the evil within, and spoiling it would just feel wrong. Jackie Earle Haley is incredibly forbidding and ruthless, so whenever Ruvik's present, you want to avoid this fucker like the plague.
Who do you think you are? I know who you are. Seb. I know what you crave, what you fear. Will you be able to live with yourself knowing what I'm gonna make you do? Poor little Joseph couldn't. Too bad they dragged you into this. But either way, you're mine. To do with as I please.
If you like the strange creatures from Silent Hill or Resident Evil, the evil within's sure to satisfy your craving. Most of these monsters even represent something, though I'm not gonna go into deep dissection because there's too much to do so, and I've already got a lot on my plate and you should play the game for yourself. The Hunted's just a bunch of fucked up zombies that are a massive pain in the ass, nothing too deep, but are cool to have. There is the special types of Hunted, like the Invisible Hunted and the Trauma Hunted though. The Keeper bears some resemblance to Silent Hill's Pyramid Head, being a gigantic brute with a bizarre object in replacement of his skull, and he's scary as all hell. Sadist is a nice little homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre's Leatherface. Laura is a horrific reincarnation of Ruvik's beloved sister, heavily inspired by Kayako Saiki from the Ju-On and Grudge series. But my god, if you found that bitch creepy like me, imagine her with 4 fucking arms. Now that's downright nightmare fuel. There's plenty of other freaks too, like Neon and Zen, the massively fucked up alter egos who hate one another but are forever attached, the disgusting hound Sentinel, an unpredictable beast called Alpha, the outlandish humanoid shark Shingyo, the hideous but fear-inducing Heresy, the horrifying Lovecraftian squid Quell, and Doppelganger, a weird clone of Ruvik who's deadly and powerful. The graphics overall are highly impressive. It's polished, smooth, and there's lots going on. All the crazy shit these were able to accomplish was a feast on the eyes in a messed up sort of way. I did notice occasionally on cutscenes, details start to fade in, not a big deal, but slightly distracting. Happy to say it wasn't often. Score of the game is about as grim as you'd expect, involving an abundance of reasons to crawl under your skin and get your heart beating fast when the time requires it.
Better run!
It plays like a modernized version of classic horror games, and Evil Within's first class in this aspect, with sharply programmed artificial intelligence that's more than enough of a challenge. They'll look for you, and Jesus, they're a pain in the arse to escape from. The game forces you to use a good strategy, so you can't just go around shooting your gun all willy-nilly, or you'll be sure to regret it. The fact you gotta make sure the hunted is dead by lighting their carcasses on fire was a cool detail to add, but you gotta be smart about it and not do it to every dead body you see, or you'll waste them. The camera here could use some work, as it's shaky and can take a bit to get used to controlling, but not to the point it's unplayable or ruins the experience, but it does get annoying from time to time. That aside, I didn't have any other issues with the controls. I'm not sure about the Xbox One or PC ports, but the PlayStation 4 version does have a problem where it'll crash every once in a while. Luckily, it's not often, but if it does that when you got past a difficult point before it saves, I guarantee you'll lose your shit. Horror aspects sure to have you shaking in your boots, relying on the correct portion of suspense and full intensity. There's all these things going around, like gruesomely killed dead bodies, moments where you gotta sneak around to avoid being caught, and more that just builds up a sense of dread. But then when all these fucked up monsters show up, especially ones where you gotta find a weak point to end them, had my heart beating so goddamn quickly, it ain't even funny. In fact, you may even find yourself screaming like a little bitch a couple times. I know I did. But when you come out victorious, that relief feels all the more rewarding. Best way to sum up the Evil Within is it's horrifyingly epic. If you're a fan of games like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, or just horror in general, you'll probably dig the fuck out of this game like myself. There's solid replay value, a well-done mystery, compelling characters, and it's so goddamn addictive. Those of you who follow me on social media would know I recently picked up the sequel because I loved the first game and just started playing it a few days ago from the time of this recording. And I'm not let down, as it's pretty enjoyable in of itself. So with that being said, I'm gonna award the Evil Within a 9 out of 10 stars. Anyway, that was it for this episode. Please comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video, please hit that like button, share it around, and subscribe for more awesome content. Make sure to hit that little bell at the side to keep notified on all new videos, and maybe even follow me on social media to keep you up to date on upcoming projects and more. This is Daikaiju SpaceZilla, leaving the building.